Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, the San Diego Daddies. What a first couple innings in LA and a whole game. And oh yeah, the New York Mets. Grimace is real. Softball.
Shamanaya.
Sack fly.
Against Shamanaya.
Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek. There was a lot of lovely people that were in the stands today. If you were a San Diego fan and you had a ticket tonight, that was a night to remember. If you were like BBD or Jolly Olive and in the stands in Flushings and you saw that game, you had a great day. And it can all happen with SeatGeek. Code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. Save yourself 10% with SeatGeek. They have seats everywhere. If there's a game, SeatGeek's on it. Code JOHNBOY Playoffs 10. Add it to your SeatGeek account right now, and you can use it later, or you can just use it now and save 10%. It's SeatGeek. You're going to use it. My name is James O'Brien. That is Brian Dozier, and we are joined by Rob Sirocco. Welcome to Talking Baseball. Trevor, big day. Big day. The Plouffe Bowl put on a show. The Mets are unreal. You're so salty. How are you?
Are you okay right now?
Shades of
What
gray.
is going on? Everything is good. Everything is good. I actually have something for the people here. You know, we've been grinding, bringing these episodes day in and day out, so much so that, this is how I sit when we do these shows. The elbows are on the wood, people, of my desk. I don't know what kind of wood this is. It's wood. And I got a boo-boo. Can't see it really down here. But today my pads came in. I don't know if you can kind of see them right here. I can record for hours now, and I feel great. So I'm excited the Exxon Ball. Yeah, like, no offense to the Mets and the Phillies. That seemed like it happened 3 days ago. And the Mets are just absolutely we're obviously going to talk a ton about it. This game in San Diego was intense. Really the story of the offseason, or the postseason, which it seems to almost be every year, is who's hot? Mets are hot. Padres are hot. Here we are.
Yeah, you're right, Trevin. People might be sick of us saying this because they're like, I just like tuning into baseball to hear Trevor Plouffe's thoughts on the game. Or, sometimes Jake has a couple quips I like.
I like reading Trevor Plouffe's stuff. He's got a lot of good takes.
The Mets-Phillies game feels like it was 3 days ago.
It does.
BBD was at it. He used SeatGeek. I live streamed it with Shelfie. You know why I'm a little different right now, Trev?
No?
I'm coming from Her Pleasure Studios. And I went home. Jess is at your Sabrina Carpenter concert tonight in Philly.
Whoa.
With a couple of her girl gang. So I went home for dinner, and did I have one at the bar? Yeah, I did.
Okay, there we go. That's the reason. Like, just so the kids know and I'm hip, I know what jersey Sabrina was wearing tonight. It was a Phillies jersey. It was a number 10 Plouffe jersey, obviously.
I got it. I got a text from Jess. She was in a suite, YouTube money, / her friend took her out. But they were I got a text from her. We're in a suite next to some Eagles wags, and they're inviting me to a game. So I don't know. I might be.
Welcome to my life, bro. That's how my life's been the last 3 years.
It's lining up for that Eagles-Rams Super Bowl because both those teams are doing so good. Let's
get into it, Pop.
Do you want to? Because I do think LA San Diego is the hot in the streets, or do we cron pod or reverse cron pod? I'll let you. Oh my God.
There she is in my jersey.
Oh my God.
I don't know, man. This is tough because I feel like if we do that, Mets fans are going to do this, do that. But at the same time, they're used to agony. Maybe let's just let him wait just a little bit longer to talk about, Polar Bear Pete going oppo for the third time
And you
in
know
5
what? The
days.
the thing going semi-viral on baseball Twitter now is the three batters till Shohei, popularized by the John Boy breakdown and some other accounts. So let's cron pod by most recent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to take the 405 down to San Diego as the Dodgers would ask for an audience with the King. Michael King trying to build off his last great start, while Dodgers fans would hope Buehler would not have a day off. Psychedelic flashback. Mookie Betts to deep left. Profar over the wall. This time it's off his glove. It's 1-0 Dodgers, but the fathers would answer. Machado takes the 5 off the 405 while running a second. Freddie throws it off his body. Then X marks the spot as he beats out the fielder's choice and get off the tracks if the train's coming through. David Peralta, 2 RBI double. Fernando, let the rhythm take you over, Fernando. Tequiero, 2-run homers. It's 6 in the second as they are your daddies. But the Dodgers aren't dead yet. Teoscar gets grouchy with a grand slam. Hernandez. And it's 6-5 in the third. Buckle up. A gritty performance by Buehler to get through 5. But grittier and prettier by that Padres bullpen. Estrada, Adams, Scott, Suarez as the Padres bullpen only allows 1 base runner. San Diego win 6-5, and they take a 2-1 lead in the series.
I have a San Francisco Giant friend that's in like our high school group chat, and he just is always banging on the Dodgers. He's like, I think the Dodgers need to go spend some money this offseason, really go try to work that free agency class. And oh man, where do we start, Jake?
That was
where do we start?
That was your boy John Heyman got off his fire tweet. He was like, Teoscar was one of the best signings of the offseason, $24.5 million. Not as good as Shohei, $2 million. Got us, John.
Got us.
You know ball.
Got us.
Ooh. You go, Trev, please.
Yeah, I mean, look, this was an incredible game. I mean, at least through the first 3 innings, we got a ton of scoring. Bullpens came in, did their job. I have so many notes on this game. So if we just want to run over those notes, I think we can do that. I thought that the simulation, we were about to catch on to the simulation. Mookie Betts, same exact ball. Small wall and left. Profar goes up and gets it. Mookie thought, I'm 100% in his simulation. Started going back to the dugout. Didn't even really care. He's like, I'm not in control of this. Someone's playing a video game with me in it right now. Turns out Profar didn't catch it. How crazy is that, though? Really, like, I know so much else happened in this game, but for that to happen 2 games in a row, and Profar he had a glove on that thing. It was crazy.
Had that glove on that thing? Trev, you and I have had some real talks about the world being a simulation. Mookie Betts, who we end up laughing. You're like, I've had a pretty good simulation. Nice MLB career, great family. I'm like, I've had a pretty good simulation. I should be coaching gym class. And now people are liking my Instagrams. Mookie Betts got broken for a minute. Mookie thought Profar did it again. It was unreal, dude. It was the same exact ball. Almost a slightly easier one because there weren't Dodger fans fighting him. But if you saw the breakdown, and if you haven't, you need to. It's 12 minutes of artwork from our man Jimmy. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
In a sport of improbabilities, it doesn't make sense.
I will applaud San Diego fans for getting out of the way, giving him a chance to catch that ball. All of them kind of got away. Good job, guys, doing what you're supposed to do. I have a quote from Eno Saris. There was a tweet from Eno Saris. Mookie Betts hit 115 with a 269 slug against right-on-right sweepers this year with one homer. He hadn't put the last 16 sweepers for Michael King in play. He homered off one in the first to put the Dodgers ahead, 1-0. Eno Saris. What's up? I need to share a beer with him.
And dude,
So that goes. So that goes down.
It's crazy, dude, because we can dive. This was some of the highest level baseball, probably the highest level baseball game we saw this year. Because King strikes out Ohtani with the sweeper the at bat before that, and Smoltz is all hard on it, and he was great about it. Actually, Smoltz talking about pitching was great. This was the first broadcast I got to listen to because I wasn't streaming, so that's part of the reason I cracked a brewski and was leaning back. That Mookie laid off a couple. This was such high level baseball. Let's hear the baseball guy talk about it.
It was a great. You're right. The 2-2, the pitch before. I have that on my notes as well. Good take on the 2-2 from Mookie. So there you go, Jake. You're learning, dude. It's only 901 shows in. How about this on my notes? Bottom first, Tommy Edman goes and gets it. Luis Arraez first AB. I have in question mark with a question mark behind it. Game changer. Because if he gets on and Tatis is like, things could change. Little did I know what the hell was about to unfold. Top second, easy inning. And then what I think Dodger fans are probably going to call for quite some time, the inning from hell for the Dodgers.
So
starts with a pitch clock violation from Walker Buehler. 1-0, throws a ball. All of a sudden, it's 2-0. Manny Machado singles. And then this is where people get confused all the time about the base running. So it's probably the most confusing rule in all of baseball. There's a different rule for it when you're running home to first. If you're running the bases, any other base, there's no such thing as a baseline.
Now, just to clarify, are you talking about Rule 601B or are you talking about 503C?
I think I'm 503 in it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only time, and I even had to go brush up on this, but if you're attempting to tag somebody, then that is when there is a lane established. But if there's no tag being applied, as long as you are not going crazy out to right field or something, there's no baseline. You can do exactly what Manny Machado did. I mean, he went onto the grass. People think it's the 3 feet thing. That's not the case in this situation because he went past 3 feet. Gets nailed in the head, keeps the inning going, goes first to third, and then, which is a great play by Manny. I don't even know if he knows the rules. Maybe he was just trying to stay out of a double play and just went inside. Because you talk to a lot of baseball players and they're very confused on that rule because there are so many different interpretations of it, and it's a very loosely written rule. It reminds me of your morals. So gets hit in the head. A lot of people questioning that. Why didn't Dave Roberts go and argue it? It's just because it's a legal play. That's why. And then it was just the next ground ball to Miggy Rowe. He goes and tries to turn to himself. Jackson Merrill, I don't know how he's so fast to second base. I thought maybe he had taken off. I thought maybe he was stealing the base. He wasn't stealing the base. He gets down there and beats Miggy Rowe to the bag. And then, was it Bogarts that hit it? Bogarts beats it out. So all of a sudden, instead of, okay, how about 1-1, 1 out, runner on first base? How about that? Instead, it's 1-1, first and second, nobody out. Here it is. How do you get there that fast? Unbelievable.
You're young, dumb, and dude, I don't like jumping the gun on baseball players because it can happen quick. It could go any direction, and one injury can change your career. There's been something different about that kid from the start, and I haven't known what to do about it. I talked about it in the Korea series. I'm not marking it on him, but something's different about him. And dude, why did he beat that? And why did he almost do it again later in the game?
Again, yeah.
What?
He's just got good instincts for the game. That's the bottom line. Good reaction time, understanding. I'm sure his, I don't know. Great job. The inning from hell continues. 2-strike double by Peralta down the line. All of a sudden, it's 3-1. Then who was it? I believe it was Higgy with the sac fly.
Yep.
Makes it 4-1. And then you're like, okay, what's going on here? Tatis 0-2, 2 outs, just goes absolute ham. Just the crowd reaction was awesome. His reaction was awesome. It's 6-1, game over. That's what everyone is thinking. And this is this is entertainment, man. This is exactly what you want from your star players on the big stage in front of a sold out crowd. It was everything that you want it to be. 6-1, game over. That's what everyone is thinking. The inning from hell. Can't believe it. Walker Bueller's in the dugout throwing shit around. It was an absolute nightmare for the Dodgers and Dodger fans.
And then what, Trev?
And then your guy, Teoscar Hernandez, 2 strikes. I mean, a couple base hits, load the bases. Okay, that's nice. Michael King, ground ball guy, hangs a freaking sweeper, 1-2. And freaking Teoscar puts him back in the game. Are you kidding me? I've been saying this. I audibly gasped at this game, dude. The Fernando homer got me, but I almost like expected it. Like he is so locked in right now. Walker Buehler not exactly locked in. Kind of expected that. That home run right there was the shocking moment of the game for me. Unbelievable. Get him right back in the game. On my notes, I say, how does King react? I was wondering because he was shaken up, visibly shaken up. And the next word is good. He did a great job. Only 1 hit after that, right? It was the Freddie Freeman single.
Him and Bueller, man.
Bueller came back and did a good job. Yeah.
Walker Bueller is a different version of Walker Bueller right now, and he knows that, dude. Like, he knows that. His second Tommy John, he clearly hasn't been pitching up to his abilities. That for him to go through the hell inning, which outside of the Fernando ball, he didn't get rocked, man.
Peralta hit one hard.
Sure, but there were ground balls there that could have ended differently.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the whole inning could have been different.
For him to fight through that, Robert says the final thing. And man, Dodger fans are never going to look for solace in losses. They are the Dodgers. They've run that division for coming up on 3 decades. Something about that inning was so cool that they were in an inning from hell. That's the way you labeled it. I would have labeled it the same exact way because that sucked, bro. Every ball seemed like it was getting through, and it seemed like there was 0 outs for so long. It was like,
there was no out. It was probably a 20-minute period where there's no outs.
There's still no outs for them. And then to piggyback it off the breakdown, and this is some of the dramatic stuff that maybe people aren't into, but for 48 hours, just dealing with Manny Machado, and did he throw the ball, and that's messed up, and just all of that BS, and Jack's yelling at people. And then if you even want to, if I was turning full Tim Kirkagin, just like this Dodgers team and having their World Series being 2020, for them to sit through that inning and then say, fuck this, like, let's put something together. And they did. And that's where, I mean, in a way, the rest of the game is beautiful because we saw some nails pitching, but those first couple innings are so electric. You wish you could bottle up more of that somehow, but the pitching didn't allow it.
No, both guys after that were perfect. King and Bueller until Machado 2-2, 2-out single. He goes out there, leaves Bueller in to face Merrill, which
by the way, that Machado at bat was sicko stuff. He's smiling at Bueller and he's laughing because he knows he's getting that slider off the plate, but he knows he can get there. It was there were so many moments of high baseball that, like, I do look back at some of the series from the summer and it's, we're working. We're working.
Yeah.
This was different baseball.
It was. And then really nothing happens. Bullpens come in and do their job. Estrada and Banda do it. Adam comes in, he does it. And then it leaves up the decision. Who you bring in? It wasn't really much of a decision. I mean, Tanner Scott was coming in to face the top of the order there. It's going to be Ohtani. It's going to be Betts. So he ends up getting Ohtani looking, which is, we talked about it, man. Like, that's one of the reasons they went out and got this guy was for these exact bets here. And he's now, I believe it's 1 for 13. this year against Otani, which has got to feel really, really good. Betts flies out. Freddie gets the base hit, which was the first. I was it the first base runner since the
Yes.
Teoscar thing? I think it was first base runner since the Teoscar Grand Slam, which is nuts. Pinch runner, Suarez in, he gets the job done, and then okay, bottom eight comes around. I had called this. Kopech comes in against Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill. And I had written after the first game, I said, if I'm Dave Roberts, I don't let Kopech face those guys again because they had such good at bats against him. And basically, he told me to SSD. Went out and struck Manny out. And Manny had some weird knee thing. Probably needed to keep an eye on that. He obviously finished the at bat, gets in the strikeout. And he just rolls through that inning. And for some reason in my head, I was like, man, what are the Dodgers? Who are they going to throw in the bottom of the ninth? How's this thing going to go? I had thought it was tied. I was watching the game the whole time. And I was just thinking that. And then all of a sudden, Suarez is in there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, 3 outs and it's over. 3 outs and it's over, baby.
Trev, there's still a lot more to digest before we even tee up the next game, and it's brought to you by Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Yeah, we can say it. Whether you're, maybe tomorrow shoot down to KC for some barbecue, Detroit, Rock City tomorrow, beautiful San Diego, wherever you're going in the beautiful United States, book it through Booking.com. They have wherever you like to stay. Bed and breakfast, hotel, vacation rentals, resorts, whatever you're looking for, do it through Booking.com because the right stay can make you a fan of any UF city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com and download the Booking.com app today. Thank you, Booking.com. Freddie Freeman hitting on one ankle right now, catching that double play and jumping and knowing he was going to land back on the bag and that was going to hurt like an MFer. Like, I don't know. There's not a lot of times we get actual like football guy stuff on a baseball field. He's kind of doing that right now. And it's going to be interesting to see their lineup tomorrow. The Tanner Scott thing, man, it's part of the reason that, I saw some stat today that I don't know if it was real or not, but someone said like 80% of the pundits were picking the Padres in this series. And it was because they have more of a rotation and they did a lot of the stuff that we like between big free agent signings, big trades, a huge trade deadline that Tanner Scott and Jason Adam right now. I mean, the fact that Jeremiah Estrada has been pushed to where he is, and then our guy Suarez, Albert's brother, he was their question mark coming into this playoffs and in a raucous Padres crowd. And this is where, if it was me, I'm screaming after every strike. Robert Suarez barely looks like the lights are on, and he's throwing a 101 down your throat. That he was like the Padres question mark, coming into the postseason. And now it seems like he's more locked in than ever. God, they are. It's a special team and a special home crowd right now.
I mean this in the most respectful way possible to the Padres. Like, where would they be without Tanner Scott and Jason Adam? Like, these games would not feel as locked down as they do if they didn't go make those moves at the trade deadline. And reminder to everyone, your team could have went out and got these guys. And they didn't. The Padres did. And that's why, I mean, they're incredible, dude. They're incredible. And now the Dodgers' back is against the wall. We talked about that. Who needs to win Game 3 in more than anyone in these 4 series? We said the Dodgers do. I don't know. I'm assuming Landon Knack. Do we have the pitchers yet? Probably.
Yeah, I was just gonna Google it as well. I don't know if BBD's got anything on research and development, but Martin Perez, another sneaky deadline ad from AJ Preller getting looks during the game. And it was again like I'm a tough on Smoltz guy, and he still has moments that just hurt me. Like he was killing Bueller for that pitch clock violation, and it's like, dude, at one point you were a young Walker Bueller that you would have got a pitch clock violation at one point. Like don't bury the kid for that. But he was awesome throughout the game, talking about setting pitches up. And dude, you talk about it almost being a tie game. How about the third at bat, Michael King and Otani, 3-2 count. Smoltz called it perfectly. He goes, Michael King hasn't thrown his backdoor slider all game. He has it set up perfectly for that. He's going to throw it here. He threw it on 3-2. And man, I know there's a lot of talk about the Marine layer and San Diego. I don't know. Otani put one of his pretty good swings on that ball, and it lands on the warning track.
Yeah.
That would have been a tie game. So, bullpen game tomorrow. Is that what we're seeing?
That's what we're seeing.
I mean, it's frustrating because there's always something that feels a little unnatural about that, but you
I think that's
gotta
their
get
best
the
chance.
lead. You
It's
got to
their
get
best chance. Yeah. And then who goes game 5 for them? Is it Yamamoto? Is it Flaherty? Is it
Spikes
both?
on,
Is it
Trev.
anybody? Yeah, everyone's got
Spikes
spikes.
on, bro.
All right. I mean, hey, the Padres are hot. Like I said, I mean, if you were really looking at this postseason, and my bracket looks, no offense to Ben Verlander, he had one of the worst brackets. Was it last year? It's Ben Verlander bad right now.
You can't predict baseball, man. That's the beauty
Except
of it.
I did before.
Except you did once before, so now you'll carry that forever.
But really, the Mets going through what they went through. We always talk about, playing postseason type games at the end of the year. What does that do to galvanize your club? You already feel like you've been in these situations, so there's some sort of calmness or an ease about it. Padres were the same way, fighting to get into the playoffs, holding on to their playoff spot, have to go through the wild card. It's these teams they look the hottest, they look the best, and sometimes we outthink ourselves. Like, hey, well, look, the Dodgers were in first place the entire year, the Phillies were in first place the entire year. But we know when the playoffs start, it's just who's hot.
Yeah, and where playoff baseball changes, the Dodgers had 3 at bats with runners in scoring position tonight. They went 2 for 3. The Padres had 4 at bats with runners in scoring position. They went 2 for 4. Like there weren't a lot of runners left on. This was like the epitome of a high level baseball game. And dude, it was just baseball was rearing its like ugly, beautiful head that, Jake Cronenworth, I think he was 0 for 13, which I think was exactly what he did the previous postseason. And then he got hot and then he got 2 hits. It's just like it's a bizarre sport where the odds are kind of against everyone except pitchers. Was that Donaldson that had that original dunk? If hitting's the hardest thing to do in sports, then what's pitching?
Exactly. Good one.
That's really good. Anthony Banda, man, like that guy was a bit of a waiver wire vagabond type, and the Dodgers have found something there. Do we need to tee anything else up from this game?
I mean, let's see if the San Diegans can break their attendance record again tomorrow. That's what it seems like they break it every single game right now.
That's this isn't again clearly for social media because it's not a social media take. What I saw from the Dodgers after the inning of death, they're not dead tomorrow. I've been on these 5-game DSs, and if you trap them at home, and San Diego has the best home, and they may be the better team right now. I don't know, man. Mookie, Freddie, Shohei,
Otani's got to do it, bro. Otani has to do it.
If Martin Perez, who don't get me wrong, like great major league career, Martin Perez, a couple seasons ago, he had one of the best seasons in Texas Rangers like history. Has been good for the Padres over the deadline. If I'm the Dodgers, I can't let Martin Perez send me home against our division rival. I can't. But the good news is we'll find out in about 24 hours.
All right.
Miggy Rowe, 35 years old, playing on one groin.
I know. Hopefully he's okay. Look, I was in San Diego all summer long.
You were.
Fingerprints all over this roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, and let me just explain to people
Okay.
because real quick on the whole Manny Machado situation, you can say that what he did was disrespectful, which it was. Even my guy, my best friend A-Rod and Jeter and Big Poppy all said the same thing. They're like, yeah, it's like that's disrespectful. You can say that he did a disrespectful thing and still view him as a leader and a positive for the Padres. Okay?
I I
That's
think
my official take.
Trev, I'm talking Jake is kind of an ironic thing because my sentences are all run on and don't really make sense. The word I keep using is there was intent. Like,
Yeah, he was pissed. He threw the ball at the dugout.
there was intent. Like he wanted to
And
ruffle some
wouldn't you be
feathers.
mad if you were in the dugout and someone did that? You'd top step him. You would.
Don't like when balls get thrown at me.
Yes,
That's
and if you're Manny Machado, you're fired up. You're mad that the Jack was telling you to go sit down. Like everyone's just mad at that point. Things happen. Manny Machado has been a leader for them. He's been great. I said it on my Twitter that across the league he is very respected. I think the general gist of a Manny Machado thought is, yeah, he's like done some stuff, but he has the respect of people. A lot of that was a long time ago. Like he's been around in the game for a long time. He is a Hall of Famer. Like there is respect there. Okay.
yeah. The narrative has gotten a little too far away from. I don't know, man. There could be a lot of other players that if they had a team meeting in the game and then they pissed off the other team, we'd be like, that guy, bro. I look, that guy's the ultimate competitor. And for Manny, just because he did some gnarly stuff when he was like 2021, gnarly for baseball.
Yeah.
People hold that over his head. It's crazy.
I think it's crazy that they like go back to the Pedroia slide. I know that wasn't great for Pedroia, but like they'll talk about that slide and then show people in the 70s literally crashing into people and like applaud that. Like that's the way the game used to be played. But then they'll point to Manny Machado and be like, you put a spike up a little bit. Like Nick Swisher broke Tsuyoshi Nishioka's leg. Nobody remembers that because he's Nishioka, not David Pedro or Dustin Pedroia. Like,
that never comes up with Swish.
right?
No,
I was there
it
for
doesn't.
that.
That's weird. Shout out
Chase
to
Utley's
Swish.
the
Nice,
ultimate competitor.
nice guy. Got to meet him a few times. He's a really nice dude, but we're playing competitive sports.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff happens. And dude, something is happening out in beautiful Flushing, Queens.
Yeah.
His name is Nola. N-O-L-A Nola. As Aaron would lead the Phillies into Queens for Game 3 against the Amazons. Sean Diddy Manaea, as he'd comb through the Phil's lineup. Bottom 2, Edie Pablo goes freak-a-leak. Alonso solo shot to get it started. But bottom 4, I'm talking about Jesse's girl. Winker goes upper deck. It's 2-0 Metropolitans. In the 6th, another postseason Marte party. This time it's Starling with the 2 RBI single. And then, oh my God, Iglesias orders the same. And yet none of that was the story. You can't spell Manaea without man. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Thanks, Phil Maton. Phils gave him a brief scare late, but they couldn't make them grimace. Mets win 7-2 and are a win away from going to the NLCS.
Nice job, Pop. You can't use Diddy though. You can't do that anymore.
What?
Just so you know. Yeah.
What's happening with him?
I saw a picture of like LeBron in a dress today, and I don't know if you'll have talked about that before. A lot of things happening. That's on the internet. I don't know.
The Instagram search page this day is just different random celebrities. It's like, am I supposed to think differently about French Montana? Where was I at with French Montana?
I think French Montana bought Jason Kubel, famed Twin Sitter's house.
Ooh.
Did you know that?
Real power. from Kubel.
Yeah. Not a great WAR. Not a great WAR guy.
It's not what the Twins are.
They weren't about the WAR till it was too late.
Trev,
They're like the French, man.
I do. I
Late to the
feel
war.
bad. Wow, that's triple entendre. I do feel bad for Mets and Phillies that this game got moved down, but in a way, this game didn't have the same juice as the first. And it has nothing to do with players. It has more to do with Sean Manaea and these 2024 New York Mets that are a game away from becoming like a team you remember, man. Like there was a fun conversation around the office today that was like, the playoffs have started, but we haven't even gotten to the meat and potatoes yet.
Exactly, dude.
The Phillies all year, we've talked about how they're built for the postseason, and they, maybe this is their year. They won the East over the Braves and the Mets. These Mets who feel like they've been in the playoffs for 3 weeks now, if the Phillies win the next 2 games, we're not going to remember. The national crowd won't remember that. That man, Sean Manaea, in a game where it felt like the Phillies played their cards right, they had Nola lined up for game 3. Sean Manaea, who I think he had the best batting average against in the second half, he shut down these Phillies in a game that the Mets kind of needed to have, and they did.
By far, he's the story of the game. Just absolutely incredible, absolutely filthy. And I was just trying to, I don't know if I faced him or not. I've obviously seen him pitch. I played behind him. I was trying to figure out a way to really surmise why he's become the pitcher that he's become. So today, his changeup was really good. There's some really, really good changeups today. So he's added this deception now with the crossbody, lower arm angle crossbody. So he's getting the lower angle, which is similar to like a Joe Ryan, like an upshoot fastball. So he has that going on, a little bit of rise. It doesn't really rise, obviously, but you get that feeling when you're at the plate. So the deception, when you have that, you decrease a hitter's recognition phase. So the recognition phase is very short, as we all know. You have to decide whether to 1 for 2 with the walk. That's right. Thank you, Beeb. It's me versus Manaea. Okay.
Line drive single, dozer to second.
Nice. Love that for me. It was old Manaea, though. New Manaea has this deception. And like I said, it decreases the recognition phase. So because it's such a different look, you have to pay attention just a little bit more when he's there. You have to say, okay, that ball's coming from out here. Now I really typically like a regular, what I would call like an average white righty. That's just what I would call him. Okay. You don't really have to do that. The tunnel, you don't need to focus on a tunnel. Like it's coming out from this slot, and where a slider needs to start, where a fastball needs to start. All these things, the tunneling is built into your mind already. Your muscle memory. With a guy like Manaea, because he's so different, you have to now set your boundaries for this tunnel. So the fastball has to start here. The slider has to start here. The problem with that is, those two things kind of run off the same tunnel. They start out, they're going to come in. So they got to start there. When he's got that changeup, his third pitch working as well, now, that you could tunnel it up there and say, okay, that's going to be a fastball coming in, and all of a sudden it just stops and goes down. So the 2 pitches, being able to come crossfire with the fastball up top, tail away, whatever it is, and then the sweeper, that's already enough for him to have success. But when you tunnel that changeup with that as well, and that thing's going, it makes something that's already one of the hardest things to do in sports even harder. And guys just don't have time to react. So it's a fucking guessing game against Sean Manaea right now. And not only does he have the deception, his stuff is playing up. He's become one of the tougher at bats in all of baseball.
And Trev,
showed it today.
Some more snaps for you. You saw it. I forget when that Twins Mets series was. You were out for. You were like, no, that's
the best
not
ever.
Sean.
I said this is the best I've ever seen him pitch.
and it showed today. And you're right, from that arm angle, you saw the Phillies getting warm before the game. They moved the pitching machine like over towards first base. And you're right. I mean, where he's throwing from right now, is good versus any lefty for any at bat, because it's just the science of the swing doesn't make sense. And you're right, that changeup against some righties was just made it one step further. And he even got a couple away to lefties that I don't even think they were great changeups necessarily. He started off a big Bryce Harper at bat during their rally inning with a changeup that I don't think it was a great changeup, but just because you have to be so dialed into those other pitches, that it was an effective changeup. And dude, I didn't know this. His playoff numbers were pretty tough coming into this start. That I
Yeah.
knew that about Sevy. And man, I believe in some of the dumb stuff of baseball, and maybe that's what makes me so beautiful. But did you see the Mets starting pitchers after Mania was done, just having a little dancing powwow? And
They're
like,
boys.
those are rich grown men,
Yeah.
Like that's Sean Mania, who's what, like he's from Indiana, but he has Hawaiian heritage. Like I'm blanking on it. Right. Sevy is from the DR, and he ended his Yankee career on almost like a sour note. And like, there's just something beautiful about now men coming together. And at this point of the year, you're not playing for dollars. You're playing for wins. And it's good for Sean Mania to do that against that Phillies lineup. And it has Phillies fans, I mean, questioning. They have a couple moves in their lineup between Alec Boehm, um, between Bryson Stott and Mundo Sosa, and kind of getting that in the mix there. Brandon Marsh and Rojas. And again, like some of these, again, they're not decisions. Like the Phillies have done this all year. If there's a lefty starter, this is what you're getting. If it's a righty starter. But man, I'll tell you what, I was watching the game with Shelfie, and it's tough to watch a playoff game go by when Bryson Stott saves the
Yeah.
game the other day, and he's on your bench, man. So that's where Austin, like, this is no shots fired at Austin Hayes. I've seen Austin Hayes be awesome for the Orioles. He makes crazy catches. He gives pisser at bats, no batting gloves. Like, Philly should be obsessed with Austin Hayes, but he's been hurt. And so here he is in a playoff game, and now he's getting these at bats that when Mania got through that inning where he got up to 80 pitches, and it's like, wait, he's going to get the bottom of the lineup again? For me, that was not checkmate, because I've been playing a lot of chess, but that was like, ooh, that's another win for the Mets.
Yeah. It's speaking of Bohm, I feel a little bit bad for the guy. He's on the struggle bus right now. He hits one down the line, and Vientos makes a great play on him. That could easily be a base hit. Just caroms off the glove, or maybe he doesn't have a strong enough throw. All of a sudden, you get a base hit. Then he finally does rip one in the gap. Then he gets thrown out on an incredible throw by Tyrone Taylor, and
Incredible throw.
he's going back to the dugout, being like, "Man, I don't remember how to play this game. I forgot how to play baseball." And that's what you feel. I'm not saying he has. I'm just saying that's what you feel like as a player when you're in the rut that he's in, and you're feeling the way that he's feeling, where he's maybe not even sure like if he's going to continue to get playing time. You feel like, what happened? I was really good at baseball, and now I don't know how to play baseball. Everybody goes through that. He's going through it right now, center stage. Yeah, I don't know. This is there's a lot of fun stuff. For instance, another tweet I saved here, Matt Gelb, he writes for The Athletic for the Phillies. The Phillies had Sean and I on the ropes in the sixth inning with back-to-back walks to begin it. He recorded the next 6 outs on 13 pitches. Like, he was a freaking animal today. Saves the bullpen for the rest of the series, and they're fresh, and it's everything is coming up Mets. Even the fact that they have their guy who we said needs to go is going, and that's Polar Bear Pete getting things started. To be able to hit that pitch that Pete hit out Fastball, I know it was a fastball up, but it's up and away. That's not usually a strength of anybody. That's a blue zone for most people, and probably for Pete too. If I had to look up his heat map, that's probably not a dark red spot. But his swing has been getting better and better and better, and he stayed with it. And right now he's locked in. Take that pitch to right field like that. You have to be perfect with your swing to do that. And right now, that's a scary thought for Philly fans thinking Pete's got that locked in. That's in his bag. You gonna come in on him? No. You gonna go away on him? Can't. Like, just another. You look at this Mets lineup, and the more and more I look at it, and the more and more time goes by, and there's more and more track record. Like, this is a long lineup, dude.
Oh, what do
Like
you?
adding Vientos and what he's been able to do into this lineup. Jose Iglesias obviously has totally changed everything, but this is like there's really not like a breath. Is Francisco Alvarez like the scariest 9-hole hitter in baseball? Like he's got to
Trev,
have.
the joke I was gonna try to sneak in was I was gonna say, did you like 9-hole hitter Francisco Alvarez's 2-strike swings today? Because that guy is trying to hit a 500-foot home run, which I
Yeah.
know, there was 3 strikeouts today, but if you're a pitcher, you feel that.
You look, he's just not an yeah, again, numbers aren't great in this postseason. He struck out 3 times today. I'm just saying, like, he's not a typical 9-hole hitter.
Right.
When he gets up there, he can do damage, get you right back into a ball game. This lineup, you talk about with Winker in it today, a deadline acquisition that seems like he fits perfectly there. They have the mojo, bro. They have the mojo, and the Phillies don't. They don't have the mojo right now.
They don't. It can change quick.
It can change quick.
Trev, let's finish off
Take
this
that
game and
5
tee up the
hits
next.
today.
Tee up the next. Thanks to the DraftKings Sportsbook. 162 is in the books. We're playing October baseball, and you can get in the action at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. And right now, if you place a $5 bet, instantly you'll get $200 in bonus bets when you use code Talkin. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code Talkin. Bet just $5 on any wager, $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Talkin only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Yeah, center field and third base defense are some of my favorite things in the world. That Tyrone Taylor throw was sick.
Sick.
Clean off the bounce, flips the hips, and the throw is on the money. Throwing like through Starling Marte.
Yeah, he basically had to go like around his head.
The broadcast initially thought it was Starling Marte, and they started hyping him up, and it was like, no, that wasn't him. Hey, we thought this was going 5.
Yeah, I think I was a little harsh there saying that the Phillies don't have it. I think they ran into a buzzsaw today. It's not fair of me to say that they didn't have it. I'm sorry.
Well, dude, they didn't have it today against Sean Manaea, who is locked.
Yeah.
Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper could combine for 4 homers tomorrow, and we wouldn't be shocked. So obviously nothing's done, but this Mets team, like when we think about, I don't know, sometimes when we think about these miracle wild card teams in baseball, we get almost unromantic. Like I'll be honest, people are being unromantic about the Tigers right now. They're looking at the second half of the Tigers lineup, and hey, if they want to use this as fuel, like go Kitties, I'm in. But that's not who the Mets are, dude.
No.
Francisco Alvarez is a top prospect with serious power catching.
Yeah, their payroll is not. I mean, the Tigers' payroll to the Mets' payroll is not even close. The Mets are not some upstart, bunch of rookies on the team. That is not who the Mets are.
But I think it's. It's something that Bill Simmons talks about when it's basketball. He's like, you can only really have 8 or 9 guys, and you need a mix of, you have your star, you have your 2 follow-up stars, you have guys that know their role, you have the veteran, you have the hot to trot rookie, you have the guy that if you need instant scoring, like there's kind of a formula. The Mets formula, dude, is just like beautiful. Like the Jesse Winker resurgence and how built for New York that guy has been even when he wasn't. Like JD Martinez as a bonus piece for them. Sure. I just crack up that Ronald Acuna Jr.'s baby bro is coming in to end these games. Like he's like the DVD of what the Mets are doing is fun and beautiful and disgusting. And that being said, the Phillies still have a shot because if they bring this back to the bank, I mean, it's not like we're going to be saying, well, good win Phillies in game 4, but here come the Mets. Like that's where this whole thing is so gross. And is it Wheeler tomorrow? They said
No.
Ranger Suarez was going to get the start, but
everybody's available for tomorrow just in case. If things go right, then Wheeler will wait for game 5. Spikes are going to be on for the Phillies. Not so much for the Mets. I don't think so.
right. I mean, Edwin Diaz, they only use him if they need 40 pitches in an emergency these days. Beebs, you were in the crowd. What was going on at City?
Crowd is really good. The people were amped up. There was, concern's the wrong word, but it's a 5 o'clock local time start, not typical in New York. Usually if they give New York the better slot, you get a nighttime. So I was a little bit like, oh, is that going to be weird? It wasn't. Everyone was great.
Like that.
I want to end this episode with a Nick Castellanos quote because obviously he said after the game, as a group, this is the closest we're ever going to get to death. So this is when we should be feeling the most alive. I think, let's go, Nick. You got to hit a homer after a quote like that.
Hey, Liam, before you go to bed, I want to tell you something. Whoa, man. Just want to practice baseball. Man, the Phillies and the Dodgers, and there's been a lot of talk about division series and is the wild card, does it not hurt? Like, does it almost help? The Phillies and the Dodgers with their seasons on the line tomorrow to bring it back home. The last day of baseball with 4 games tomorrow, Trev.
Yes.
Yum.
Let's get it, Pop.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure you're subscribed. If you made it to this point and you're not, come on. You will hear from us, I think, Thursday morning. There might be
my elbows are fine.
What's that? Wow. So it came in a 2-pack?
Game changer for me. Just an absolute game changer.
You are a leaner, huh?
It's incredible.
Gotta get close to the mic, Pop.
How do microphones work?
I don't know.